stay close to them just so they can see my face. Actually, let me show you how to sit first. So you'll sit on the floor and you'll prop yourself up like that. So let's do right side first. So the right knee is up. Oh, you're okay. You can yeah. So yeah, I just so they can see. Um, and the first spot we'll get to, you'll put the heel of the hand right behind the ear, and you can move your fingers a little bit through your hair, and just kind of rest the head there. Yeah, good. And then at first, we'll just move the hand around in some circles. And for the moment, we're not directly getting into the jaw, but kind of getting into this area. And now this next one will actually go to the masseter muscle. So just underneath the cheekbone, you'll set it's not the thumb pad, it's like the outer below the thumb. You'll set that part of the hand there. This is my favorite one. And you'll just move around again in some circles. Aww. And then let's hold the hand there and very gently open and close your mouth. Just with some gentle pressure, but nothing extreme. Oh. Yeah, and then we'll get one more spot. This is the temporalis muscle. If you go above the cheekbone, straight out from the eye, just right at the temple there, you'll rest the heel of the hand, and then again, just make some little circles. We'll visit all three spots again with a slightly different focus. So let's stay here and keep the hand still and just move your head. And that could be circles, yes, no. It feels a little different when you move from the head. And then we'll do the same thing just below the cheekbone, same little spot. Keep the hand still and then move the head. Yeah. And then let's again do our open close with the mouth. And if you want to do that as the head is moving at the same time, that might be interesting. Good. And then our last spot here, just behind the ear, that little bony spot. And the head is resting on the hand. And then just let the head do a little side to side, up and down circles, anything there. All right. And then let's pause and just take a second to notice the two sides. Just close your eyes for a moment. And sometimes, for me today, I feel it all the way down the arm. The side I just did is a little less bound up. And I'm told there's a relationship between the jaw and the hip. And I don't know much about that, so I can't really say, but just notice the hips too. Why not? Okay. And then let's do second side. So we'll start here with the knee propped up in the hand. So the heel of the hand is just behind the ear. And we make our little circles, starting with the hand, doing the motion. And this is a good one. It takes just a few minutes. You can do it instead of sitting on the floor like this, you could have your elbow on a desk. My husband's, he has a meeting every morning. He's been working at home and it's on Zoom or something, and he just turns the camera off and lifts weights while the meeting is happening. So you could do your little jaw massage next time you have a meeting. And then release that and go under the cheekbone there. And same thing, little circles. I come down and like, oh, looks like a productive meeting. All right, and then let's open and close the mouth. Now, I always forget to say this on the first side because I get it on the second side. If you get little clickies in the jaw, do less movement in order to not do the clickies. The clickies aren't necessarily a bad thing, but not something we want to perpetuate or encourage here. Yeah. All right. And then let's go just above the cheekbone, straight out from the eye, right at the temple. And we'll use the hand at first. And then we'll pause there and keep the hand relatively still and just let the head move around a little bit. Any which way. Yeah. All right, and then let's slide down again to the just under the cheekbone, and this time we'll move the head. And if you wanted to also open and close the mouth as you're moving the head, that's an option. Yes, and then our last spot here, just behind the ear. And let the head just be held there by the hand as the head moves around. Trying to move the skin around. Excellent. And then let's release that. And again, just take another pause. You do your seat here. And notice. Notice the both sides of your face, the sides of the neck, shoulders, and the arms. And take a few conscious breaths. And then let the eyes just slowly blink open. And gently do a little nod up and down with your head. It's like you're saying yes in slow motion. Good. Then we'll pause in the center and we'll do no. See if you can initiate the turning of your head from the tip of your nose. All right, and then we'll return to center. So we'll actually do kind of similar here for the pelvis, laying on your back. We won't spend too much time on it, but in a little bit you'll want a strap and a block. So let's have that handy. Did I have a second block? Oh, there it is. I lost my other block. I'll grab it. And then we'll come lay down here, and let's begin with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. And I believe all of you have done this concept with me, the pelvis clock. So yeah, if you can imagine there are a clock right on the low belly, right over the pelvis here, and we'll be going between different numbers. So for the moment, let's tip between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, which 12 o'clock would be tilting towards the navel, and the pelvis tucks under, and 6 o'clock would be tilting towards the tailbone, and that makes a little lift up through the lower back. So just take a few of those. And now in a moment, we're going to, instead of do 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we'll do 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So similar movement, but just offset a little bit. So let's go ahead and get there. 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Yeah, so you're just tilted a little bit, and it's, as we'll eventually get to all the numbers, but notice in your own body, likely there'll be a spot that is tricky for you to get to, or that you naturally find yourself skipping. And we really want to get into all the numbers here. So let's come back to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That's more of our home base here, neutral. And then we'll move now to 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So on the other little diagonal. And this is where I find the trouble spot, right around that 10 and 11 for me is the tricky spot. A lot of times we experience problems in the pelvis and the lower back. Sometimes one part gets a little tight and sticky and doesn't move that well, and then another part actually moves too much, and it's usually the too much that causes us the difficulties, the pain. Yeah, let's come back to 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It doesn't really matter what pace you're going. I'm going kind of medium here. And then we'll go back to side 1, but further over. So let's go through 1 o'clock and then get to 2 and 8. Yeah, so this is diagonal. And then we'll come back through middle, 12, 6. Do 12, 6 a few times. Yeah, and then we'll go the other direction. So go through 11 and we'll stay on 10 and 4. And if you can't remember the exact numbers, if you forget what a clock looks like, just take a straight diagonal line across. I was doing this, I'm like, wait a minute, where's 4? Yeah. And then let's go straight here into our 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So that's a right, left, straight across. And if we were to make this really big, the legs, it would turn into windshield wiper legs. But for now, keep the legs relatively still. Yeah. And then let's just take a little pause in the middle. Take a breath. We'll make a journey all the way around the clock. So let's tilt into our 12 o'clock again. And then from here, we'll go all the way around. So 12, 1, 2, 3, etc. And it's easy to check out, but this is where we really want to check in and find all of those numbers, and especially the ones where your body doesn't want to go. And it don't force anything, but if you need to make the circle a little smaller or a little slower in order to get those tricky numbers, do whatever you need to do. You might also find just naturally some abdominal movement happening in order to move in this way. So the next time we get to home base, back to our 12 o'clock, let's reverse the direction of the circle. So 11, 10, 9, 8, etc. And notice again where the sticky spots are. And try to go as smoothly as possible through all points in the circle. Yeah. And then from here, let's take a little break. Just come back to neutral. Take a breath. Then we are going to do a few more things on your back. If you need to stretch the legs, either up in the air or straight out, or take a little movement here, just whatever you need to do. And if being still and pausing is a better choice, take that. Yeah. All right. So let's take one of the blocks and have it just kind of handy on the right side. We won't use it quite yet, but we will pretty soon. And then take your strap and put the strap over
the right foot. For the moment, left leg here can be bent or straight. And let's use this first part just as an opportunity to stretch the hamstrings. So take a minute or so for anything. You can also loop the strap if you like. I'm just holding one hand on each side. But for the moment here, anything goes. I'm going to be specific momentarily. All right, and then if it feels okay in your body to have the left leg long on the floor, go ahead and get there. And with the right foot, press the sole of the foot straight up into the strap. And at the same time, press the root of the thigh bone straight down into the pelvis. And when we do it like that, you'll likely have just a natural little curve in the lumbar spine. Stay here, pay attention to the left leg for a second, and think about like you're sucking the thigh bone into the pelvis on the left side. So the left hip pulls up a little, and when that happens, you might be able to move the right one down a little, kind of like a pair of scissors. Let's do that, just kind of a little pulse. So the left one pulls up, the right one goes down, and then back it off, and again. Yeah. And let's do last one. All right. And from here, yogis, let's bend up the left knee, have the strap in the right hand, and then as the right leg goes right, let the left knee go left and go about maybe halfway. And then come up a little bit. And then lower down maybe slightly more than halfway. Yeah. And come up a little bit. So just a slow little coming in and coming out. And when the legs come back up a bit, you'll feel the inner thighs engage. And then when the legs go back down, you'll feel maybe a little stretch through the inner thighs. Let's do one more. And we'll meet the next time you're in the down position. Yeah. If you want more stretch, and you might not, but if you do, pick up the left leg and hold it with the left hand. And then I like to just bend my right elbow and prop the elbow down so the arm doesn't have to work as hard here. Yeah, stay in the position and press the right sole of the foot out into your strap. Yeah. All right, we'll do one more variation like this. Let's come back up to center. And now we'll put the left leg down on the floor. If that doesn't feel good, do the version again with the knee bent. And now, where's my block? We're going to take the block and stick it right on the side of the right hip. It doesn't go under the hip. It goes right next to the side, and it just kind of mushes into the flesh there. And then keeping the block there, let's have the strap in the right hand. Let the right leg go out to the side until the block catches you. And it's not going to go the leg won't go all the way down to the floor. That's it.
Oh, it's on that one.
Yeah, it's on the, just kind of the outside of it. Yeah. All right. Now, stay here. Pay attention to the left leg. And like we did a moment ago, suck the thigh bone into the pelvis. Try to pull it up. And when you do, you might notice the right one go down a little. Let's back off and go again. That's it. And then this last one, I'll be a little more specific. Pull up through the left side. And then on the right side, think about the outside of the right hip wrapping down in the direction of the left foot. So creating a little extra rotation there, but don't crank it too hard. Yeah. All right, and then up we come to center. Take one more moment, yogi's choice. If you want to take the right leg across to the left, that's an option. If you want to do a few more rounds of bend and straighten, that's an option. Just take what you need. Yeah. All right, and then we'll come out of that and just pause for a second. Let's lengthen both legs long and see if you notice a difference. Yeah. So we'll get the block handy on the left side. We won't use it right away, but just keep it there. And then let's put the left leg up and take anything you want for a moment. It might be. For me, I need different things sometimes on the two sides. All right, guys, so let's pause here. And if you're okay to have the right leg long on the floor, go ahead and get there. Press the left foot up into the strap, and at the same time, press the thigh bone down into the pelvis. That's on the lifted leg. Now on the bottom leg, the right side, draw the thigh bone into the pelvis by going in the direction of your head. Yeah, good. And let's do a little pulse with that. So you back off and then find it again, like a giant pair of scissors for your legs. Great. All right, yeah, it's a little emergency outside. Hopefully everybody's okay. And then we'll back off, bend the right knee foot on the floor, and then let's have strap in the left hand, and as the left leg goes open to the left, right knee goes open to the right, just go about halfway, and then you'll come up a little and go back down a little more than halfway. Yeah, and do that a few times. It's pretty slow, this one. We don't want to bounce it, so it's just, a lengthening and then a little engagement on the way up. Great. So we're going to stay the next time you're in the down position, and if it's a good idea to get more stretch, you'll pick up the right leg and hold on to it, keeping the knee bent. If that's not a great idea, forget this part. Good. All right, come on back to center. And then if you're okay to stretch the right leg out straight, do. And let's take the block next to the left outer hip and just kind of mush it in really close. Strap again is in the left hand. And let's plug the right one in first. Find that. And then take the left one over and let it land on the block. Yeah. One more time on the right side. We'll plug it in. And then do it as a little pulse. So you'll back off and then plug it in. Yeah. And then this last time here, let's hold the plug in on the right side. On the left side, think about the outer hip wrapping down, rotating in the direction of the right foot. Nice. Okay, up we come, back to center. Yogi's choice for a moment here. If you want to take the leg over to the right, you can. If not, anything else is fine. Yeah. All right, yogis. Let's return back to center. You can remove the strap and just take a second. Maybe you're completely still. Maybe you wiggle around. I'm going to do one more thing here on your back. When you're ready to get there, this will be a Baddha Konasana position, feet together, knees apart. And for me, it feels much, much better if the blocks are supporting the legs. If you want to do it without, that's fine. You could do diagonal blocks, flat blocks, whatever you want. So here we are in this position. And remember when we did the pelvic clock, we'll do an abbreviated version of that here. So it'll feel different with the legs in this position. Just very small amount go between your 12 o'clock and your 6 o'clock. Yeah. And I actually have a little bit more mobility than when the legs were in the other position. Yeah. And then we'll pause in neutral. And this is teeny tiny, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so the right, left. And the legs will move a little bit, but don't go so big with this that the whole body rocks from side to side. It's pretty small. Notice if 3 or 9 o'clock is easier to get to. Yeah, and then we'll pause in the middle. And now let's take 3 circles. We'll start at 12 o'clock and go 3 times clockwise. Noticing where your sticky spots are. And these two, they're not huge. They're not huge. Pretty subtle work. And once you get back, once you've done your 3 reverse, we'll do 3 counterclockwise. Whenever I go the second direction, my clock turns into a Salvador Dali painting, the melted clock. All right. And then again, we'll pause, just in neutral, take a breath. Okay, and we'll undo. Take the feet back on the floor, the knees bent. And let's just hug both knees into the chest. You could take some little circles, side to side, forward, back, whatever you want. Nice work, you guys. We'll turn over and meet in the hands and knees position, and we'll be here for a little bit. So feel free to put any kind of padding under your knees if you need that. Yeah. And for the moment, just start to move around any which way. I'm doing some circles. You could do that, or cat-cow, whatever feels right. Yeah. And then let's let the movement settle here. Stretch the right leg back with the toes tucked under and give yourself just a little push-pull to stretch out through the back of the leg. Nice. So we'll pause here. Broaden the collarbones, lift the belly, and take the left fingers forward, fingertips on the mat. Now feel free to stay here, or in a second we'll lift arm and leg. If you don't want to lift the arm, just keep the arm down and only do the leg. So lower and lift. And see if you can time it so they both land at the same time. Yeah. We're going to stay in the up position. Press down through the left shin. Bend the right knee out to the right, the left elbow out to the left. So it's a kind of skydiver position. And then we'll set the hand down and kick the right leg straight over and step the foot down onto the floor. So in this wide position, the foot's off the mat here. And do some cat-cows with the right leg wide. And you might get a nice stretch here going on through the inner thigh. Yeah. Now let's pause in neutral. Walk both hands a little bit forward and also a little bit to the right. And try to lift the left half of the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Yeah. All right, and then we come to center. Reset the knee. Go back, take a brief child's pose here, and let's take spider fingers in your hands. Maybe you take a little wobble from side to side. That's it. And then let's come down onto the belly for a second before we do that on the second side. And we'll just stretch out the hands a little bit. Release the arms back, backs of the hands to the floor. You can either be on your chin or head to one side, whatever feels more comfortable. And then we'll curl up the fingers and bend at the wrist so the back of the hand peels up off the floor. Just hold this for a second. And then press the tops of the feet down into the floor, firm up just above the kneecaps. Let the fingers go, the backs of the hands stay on the floor. Broaden your collarbones and lift the chest a little bit. So the backs of the hands stay on the floor, the tops of the feet stay on the floor for now. And then we lower down, make your fist again, bend at the wrist, just hold that for a second. Yeah. Press down through the tops of the feet, let go with the hands. Broaden the collarbones, and this time when we come up, go ahead and lift the arms, turning the palms of the hands towards your legs. Yeah, we'll do one more. Come on down. Bend at the wrists. Hold that for a moment. And then this last one here, let's start with the feet pressing down. Lengthen the fingers. Lift the front of the shoulders. Lift the arms, and then lift the legs this time. Yes. All right. Set the hands right under the shoulders. Set the feet down. Go back again to child's pose just for a sec. Yes, and we'll return to our all fours position here. Step the left leg back, toes tuck under, and just give yourself a little movement. Calf stretch for me. And then we'll pause here, broaden the collarbones, lift through the belly, and take the right fingers forward. Hand could stay down or you can lift. Let's lift the leg, lift the arm, turn the thumb to face up. And then when we come down, tap both down to the floor. Do this a few times and see if you can coordinate so that everything lands together. Easier said than done, at least for me. Good. And then we'll stay up. Bend the elbow to the right, bend the knee to the left, press down through the right shin. The hand will release down, step the leg out to the side, foot on the floor, cat-cow with the leg wide. Good. And then pause here. Take both hands a bit forward and a bit to the left, not too far. Lift up through the right hip towards the ceiling. Nice work, you guys. Let's return to center, 2 knees down. Child's pose, any variation with the feet, any variation with the hands. If you want to do spider fingers or wiggle the hands around, take what you like. Yeah. Okay, and then let's head into downward facing dog pose. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And from your downward dog, let's meet in a standing forward fold. Any way you want to get there is fine. Root down through the legs. Inhale, we grow tall. And exhale, we'll just set the arms down alongside you. Yeah, nice job. Okay, let's take a little hula hoop here. Just celebrate. We're standing. Class is halfway through. We finally stood up. Go the other direction. Yeah. And then I'll mirror you here. Step the right foot in front of the left like you're on a tightrope. If that feels really, really treacherous, have a little space right to left. Yeah. All right, and then shift your weight to the front foot and to the back foot a couple of times. Yeah, notice where you want to be, and then see if you can be even between the two. Press down through both feet. Take the arms out and up, and then we'll hold right hand to left forearm. Pull up and over, a little bit of a side bend. Press down firmly through both feet, and then we'll stay on the right side, but separate the hands, and now pick up the left leg and take it out to the side, so we're in this diagonal position. Yes. Then when we come down, the left foot steps in front of the right, release the arms. Soften the knees a little bit and shift between your front foot and your back foot. This one here is an easier stance for me than the first side. Good. And then when your weight is even between the two, let's pause. Root down through the feet, up come the arms. Left hand holds the right forearm. We come up and then over to the side. Good. Plant down firmly through the feet. And then from here, friends, we separate the arms, shift forward. Right leg comes out to the side, and here we are in this diagonal. Yeah. All right, looking great. Let's release the arms, release the legs. Stand. And then we'll practice this action. It's a little bit strange in mountain pose, but it'll inform what we're going to do in some other poses in a sec. So in your mountain pose, let's have the feet a little bit apart, tiny barely bend in the knees. And then you might be able to feel it here. If you put your hand on the outside of the hip, not all the way at the pelvis, but lower than that, there's a little sticky outy bit. It's called the greater trochanter. Yeah, it's like a little bump on the side of the thigh bone. Anyway, if you can't find it, it's okay. But think about moving that part of the thigh bone back. So it's a rotation. They roll back. And then notice what else happens in your feet, in your knees. Yep, and then relax. And do this a few times. So this is external rotation. The other day, I think some of you were here, we did internal rotation, which is the opposite. Yeah. All right. Okay. And then release that. And now we'll do something else, and then we'll put them together. So this one you've done a million times. Put your weight down into the ball of the big toe, and just press down into the floor. and then release. And do that a few times, that and only that. But notice what else happens in the knees, in the pelvis, in the distribution of your weight. Yeah. All right, and then pause. Tiny, barely bend in the knees. Take the very tops of the thighs, roll them back for external rotation. And now keep that and add on, counter it by pressing down through the ball of the big toe, and then slowly go straighter in the legs. Oh, yeah, it's very exciting. Let's keep that happening. Take the arms out to the side and up. Gorgeous. Okay, and then release, relax the legs. Nice work. So that's sometimes referred to as the outer spiral, and I just want to explain that. Oh, actually it works well because my hands kind of make a spiral. So at one end of the spiral, you're drawing back. If you were to continue everything, see how my whole leg is going that direction? But no, I want to put the brakes on that. So this end of the spiral is going down. And if I do only that, then the knee knocks in, and that's bad news. So we want them both together at the same time. And that's really what we want in a lot of yoga poses that we'll do in a second. You do them all the time, I just don't talk about them like this. So let's come to the front of the mat and have, if you like to have blocks for lunge, you can have them handy. Yeah. Right. And then on the inhale, we'll lift. Exhale, we'll go down, take a forward fold. Inhale is a halfway lift. And then on the exhale, let's step the right leg back, lunge pose. And just be here for a second. So we'll practice this in lunge, and it'll feel a little different in warrior two. But let's find this. The outer left hip wraps down towards the floor. And at the same time, the ball of the big toe presses down. We've got both ends of the spiral. Let's keep that going in the leg. Move the chest forward, lengthen a little through the upper body. Yeah. And then we'll back off of this a little. Turn the back heel to the floor. We'll come up to warrior two. I'm going to have my back to you for a little bit. Hands to the hips. And just as a little bit of a warm-up, stretch the front leg. Rebend and add in the tilt in the pelvis. Yeah, do that a few times. So it's kind of halfway to side angle pose. And then we'll pause with the front knee bent. Stay there. Keep the outer left hip wrapping down towards the floor, and then counter that by pressing down through the ball of the big toe. Let's press down also through the right heel. Just press down and out, and stretch the left arm out and up with the palm facing up. Yeah. Then from here, friends, your choice. Take the left arm either forearm to thigh, or hand to the floor or to the block, your choice. Keep this action going on in the front leg. And then let's take the right arm a little half circle down and then out in this beautiful diagonal line. Yeah. So the leg is doing its thing. Keep that. And you spin the left ribs to the right ribs as you rotate the chest open. All right. And then back off a little, look at the floor, release the arm. Just take a few rounds for anything. You can bend and straighten the front leg. You could wiggle around. Yeah, it's a lot of work to maintain that. All right, and then let's pause with the front knee bent, and we'll do plank for a little bit of a long hold. So take your time to get there. Any version of plank is fine, including just hands and knees instead. Broaden the collarbones. Lift up through the belly, press back through the heels, but at the same time, draw forward through the chest, through the sternum. Yes, good. Lower the knees down, bend the elbows, come all the way down to the belly, and just rest your forehead for a second on the hands. Bend up your knees, give the legs a little swish, a little side to side action. Yeah. All right. And then from here, let's let the legs down. Press back into down dog. Take your time. And then to get out of this, we'll come to the front of the mat. Root down through the feet. Inhale, we rise. And exhale, set the arms down. Okay, let's do side two. Just come up again. And then we come down into our forward fold. Take the half lift position. And on the way down, we'll step left leg back, setting up for your lunge, and we'll just stay here for a little bit. Yeah, so the right leg, the outer right hip, let it drop down towards the floor. And at the same time, press down through the ball of the big toe. Keep that and extend the front of your spine forward. Yeah. All right, so back off a little to transition. Turn the back heel to the floor, come up just to warrior two. And then hands onto the hips, straighten out the front leg. And as you rebend, let's come into that side angle prep. Yeah, do a few of those. Yeah, now in many of these poses, there's a tendency for the front knee to knock in. And if we can maintain the leg spiral, that really doesn't happen. So let's pause, we'll check it out. Find the tilt there. And then the outer right hip, let it wrap down towards the floor. Counter that in the ball of the big toe, root down. You got it. Press down and back through the back heel. And then let's stretch the right arm forward. Yeah. Now you choose. When it comes down, you can take forearm to thigh or hand to the floor or to the block. Let's take the left arm and do that little slice. Yeah. All right, guys. So maintain this spiral going on the right leg. And let's add a spiral in the chest. So turn the right ribs towards the left ribs as we add that in. What we have in the leg. Yeah, that looks great. All right, come on down. Relax the front leg. Turn the back heel up. And just take a second here, anything at all. Nice. All right, let's step the back foot forward. Root down through both legs. Inhale, we rise. And exhale. Arms down. So we'll do the same thing in triangle pose. Let's just get there. So come down, step the right leg back, turn the heel down to the floor, and then come up. Let's have both legs straight, both arms straight. And triangle is a straight-legged pose, but we'll start with the bend in the knee. So this little bend in the knee. Let's find the hands to the hips and find the same tilt that we did in side angle pose. And then we'll find the same spiral. So the outer left hip drops down, as does the ball of the big toe. So both ends of the spiral. Keep that, and then just very slowly lengthen the leg, maintaining the spiral. Yeah. And then back off a little as we rebend. And find it again, spiral as we lengthen. Yeah. One more time. This time we're going to stay. So as we lengthen, find the spiral, stretch out long through the left arm. And then we'll stay here, and let's add the right arm to stretch it back. We're not going to go down. Until now. Look at the floor, release the arms, bend the front knee, turn the back heel up. Step the back foot forward, the front leg back. And then heel to the floor, come on up. So both legs straight, both arms straight. Hands to the hips. And then let's bend the front knee, find our spiral here. Outer hip wraps down, ball of the big toe presses down. Sorry, let's add in the tilt of the pelvis. I didn't say that. And then you'll back off a little as we come back up. All right, we don't want to back off when we come up. Let's start over. Bend the front knee. Find your spiral. Keep the spiral as we straighten the leg and keep the tilt in the pelvis. Yeah. And then back off a little when we rebend. My apologies. Do that a few times. So we find the spiral and we maintain it as we lengthen. And then we back off a little as we rebend. Good. Let's do last one. We'll stay with the leg, your version of straight. It might not go completely. And then reach the right arm out. Palm faces up. Lengthen, lengthen. If you want to add on, left arm comes back. Yay, jump for joy, triangle pose. And then to get out, look at the floor, release the arms, bend the front knee, turn the back heel up. Nice job. Let's head into downward facing dog from here. All right. And then why not just a child's pose? Come on down, take a second. So to get up, just either go back to down dog or just come up to stand, whatever you want. Oh, okay. So, depending on the timing, we'll do two non-traditional kind of versions of half moon, and we may be doing the traditional, we might not. So let me show you this one. I'll talk you through it as we do it. Stand on the left leg, take the right leg back, but not far. It's like 2 feet or so. Right arm, just rest along the right leg, left arm lifts up. Take a very small bend in the left leg, and let's find the leg spiral. Outer hip wraps back, ball of the big toe presses down. Maintain that as we start to hinge forward and lift the right leg. Now, the further you go into this, you can add in the spiral in the torso. Maybe, maybe not. I'm about to lose it. And then with the left arm, instead of going down to the floor, think out and up to maintain length in the left side of the waist. Nice, and then we get out of this to stand 2 feet side by side. Okay, side 2. Right leg is down, left leg comes back. Just stay here for a sec. Tiny, barely bend in the right knee. Outer hip wraps back, ball of the big toe presses down. Maintain that as you lift the right arm. And then we lift the left leg. Just go kind of medium here. And then if you do go further, add in the turning of the torso. Yeah, good. Okay, nice job. Come back to center. That looked really good. Yeah, just release it. We'll go one more of those on each side, and I won't really say much, so let's just try it again. Right leg is back, left leg, we find the spiral, and then take your time to head into it. Oh, I'm like really hungry. I don't know if you heard that. All right, come back up to center. And then the last side. All right, and then back to center. Nice job. Okay, let's do one more variation, then we'll take it down. So I'll suggest blocks for this on the highest height, about shoulders width distance apart. And this one too, I'll talk you through it as we go in. So let's come into this standing forward fold and bring the feet a little closer together than you would ordinarily. They may touch, they don't have to touch. Little bend in both knees. Let's stretch the right leg and lift it up, doesn't have to go high. And then find the spiral on the left side. Outer hip wraps back. Ball of the big toe plants down. Keep that as you start to turn the torso to the right and maybe lift the leg higher. And then we'll undo and do 2 more exactly like this for now with the hands down. Yes. And then this last one will stay. Maintain the spiral on the standing leg. Right leg maybe can lift a little higher. Chest can start to turn to the right, and if you want to put the right hand either to the hip or in the air, that's a possibility. I heard that. Okay, down we come. Hand comes down, leg comes down. Separate your feet a little and just take a little side to side. Yes, you guys. Last side of this. So we come back in, feet either touching or close to touching. Slight bend in the knees, and then the left leg reaches back. Find the leg spiral here. Outer hip wraps back. Ball of the big toe plants down. And then as you're ready, we'll do 3. We turn the chest to the left. And then undo. And go again. And undo. And then last time here, keep the spiral on the standing leg. And then the left hand maybe comes to the hip. Maybe it goes up in the air. Yes, yogis. Ardha Chandrasana. And then down we come. Hand releases down, leg releases down. Let's again take your feet kind of wide and just do a little side to side. Yeah. Nice job. All right. Let's reset. Feet just right underneath you. Inhale, we grow tall. And exhale. The arms down. All right, looking mighty fine. So let's look just as a symmetrical pose after all of those. Take the feet not too wide, just a little wider than you normally go. Slight internal rotation. Yeah, after all of the external today. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, and rest the forearms to the thighs. At the very top of the inner thighs, press apart. Yeah, and now we're going to counter that one in the feet by hugging in. Now you can stand up first or you can just get down. We're going to come down onto the floor. So take your time and do just that. Yeah. And then let's sit in Dandasana for a sec with the legs forward. I'll turn around. And then let's do this. Pull the buttocks flesh back. Press down through the fingertips, forward through the heels. So they're really tall here. And if you can lift the arms and maintain the length in the spine, do. But sometimes we lift the arms and then we go here. If that's happening, better off just to keep the arms down. Yeah. So whatever's on the floor, press it down so that the torso can stay lifted. Nice job. It's a difficult pose, but it's very joyful. All right, relax the arms. You can jiggle out the legs here. And then we'll come down onto your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Yeah. And then a few possibilities here. Figure 4 is one option, or Gomukhasana legs is another option. Whatever gives you a little bit of a stretch in the outer right hip. And then I'm not going to be too specific here. If you want to take a little side to side or a little cat-cow, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock again. Oh no. Too much sitting. That'll do it. And then just try to remember what you're doing on this side so you can repeat it in a second on the other leg. Yeah. And when you're ready to transition, we'll undo and redo. Second side. Oh no, is this side even worse? No. No. That was bad. The other side was worse. Yeah, I'm usually tighter in the front on the left and in the back on the right. And then the sides, it's a crapshoot. So. All right, friends, we're nearing the end here. Let's come back to center and then just do anything that's symmetrical. That could be a happy baby. You could press the hands into the thighs. You could take a big stretch, any and all of the above. I'm going to turn off some of the lights in here. All right, friends. When you're ready for Shavasana, now is the time. Come on in and do take time to make sure you're comfortable. And if that means you use additional props or anything like that, whatever you need to do. And then see if you can relax. In particular, relax the belly and the chest, front of the body. You might remember those points on the face we did in the very beginning. Can you relax right behind the ears? A little bony spot and the skin over it. Can you relax the area just below your cheekbones? from the inner corners of your eyes to the outer corners of your eyes. Can you relax there all the way out to the temples? And bring your attention back to your body. Start to bring in a little bit of movement here, anything at all. And whenever you like here, you can bend at the knees and roll to one side. And then from there, take your time to come up to sit. We'll need sitting. Hands right at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Namaste.